5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Breathing new life to a former hotspot for nightlife.
But I think we can rethink what life on McLeod's Landing looks like.
The new idea is gaining momentum to restore the St. Louis riverfront.
A bit of rain and gusty winds Thursday lead to a Friday cool down. And we look beyond the weekend toward a warming trend ahead of Christmas.
A traffic bottleneck in a boomtown.
People just need to slow down through this section.
The plan's being mapped out to fix the congested corridor in St. Charles County.
5 on your side starts now with breaking news.
A teen is dead after being shot in South St. Louis. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. That shooting happened about 4 hours ago near Oregon Avenue and Miami Street in the Gravois Park area. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend talked to police on the scene. He joins us now live from St. Louis Police Headquarters downtown. Robert.
Mike, police say the boy was shot in his South City neighborhood. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital where sadly he died. And listen to this, he was only 14 years old. We're going with that because that's what a police officer told me. He was, again, investigators say shortly before 6 tonight, officers first responded to a shot spotter call at Winnebago in Nebraska. Now, 2 minutes later, the emergency call went out that the teen was shot about a block away and critically injured. Police say the bleeding boy made his way inside a house on Oregon. He did not live there. Again, paramedics rushed the teen to a hospital where he died. Homicide detectives, crime scene technicians, and officers spent more than 2 hours at this shooting scene. Glove-wearing officers went inside the house with flashlights, took lots of pictures, and removed several items from the home in brown paper bags. They also canvassed the neighborhood in their patrol cars and in the air in a helicopter. Right now, police are still looking for the boy's killer and a dark-colored sedan with ballistic damage and no license plates.
It is absolutely heartbreaking that we are here investigating yet another young person who has been injured in violence, or in this case tonight, who's passed away from gun violence in our community. We are determined, and we are working right now to identify the shooter and then ultimately bring the shooter to justice.
The teen is the 48th young person to be shot so far this year in St. Louis. Now, police are asking anyone who knows anything about the deadly shooting to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Remember, you can remain anonymous, and you may even be eligible for a cash reward. We'll stay on top of this developing story. Live downtown, I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
Now, this shooting comes just a day after another teen was shot in North St. Louis. This was the scene around 7:30 last night on Canaan Avenue in the Baden neighborhood. Police say a 13-year-old was hit by gunfire while standing inside the doorway of a home. He was taken to the hospital, is expected to recover. Anyone with information about this shooting is also asked to call police.
Just into our newsroom 20 minutes ago, a man has been charged in connection to a double murder in Cahokia Heights. 54-year-old Sean Williams of Belleville was taken into custody yesterday. Bruce Mason and Lanaya Joyce White were found shot near Walnut Street over the weekend. The major case squad says it received more than 75 leads in the case. And tonight, Cahokia Heights police are investigating a double shooting which injured a child and left a man dead. The shooting happened this morning at the Greystone Apartments. 36-year-old Demario Johnson was shot and killed. An unidentified child was also shot and taken to the hospital. No word on their condition.
All right, we turn now to your weather impact forecast. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking gusty winds and a rainy morning commute.
But it won't stick around for long. Scott?
No, the rain's not going to stick around for long at all. We are talking about that rain kind of pushing through here as we go into tomorrow. Showers. We're looking at the timing from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. and then it is much colder as we go into Friday. A mild Christmas week is ahead. Here's that system for tomorrow. While there'll be a few showers around perhaps during the rush hour, the main area of rain right along the front, that comes in from the north and slides into St. Louis late morning, probably after 10 o'clock, more likely between 11 and noon, and then moves off to the east. You get the gusty winds bringing in colder air as we go into tomorrow night. You see our temperature trend a little unusual. We're in the mid-50s from the get-go tomorrow morning, but by the evening hours, we're down around 40, and it'll feel much worse because the winds will be gusty. 10 o'clock through about 1 o'clock in the metro, that's your most likely time to see the rain tomorrow. Some gusty winds with some of those showers and some brief downpours. Mike?
Good news tonight. If you drive Highway 61, some major improvements are on the way.
Just hours ago, 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski got a look at MoDOT's plans for this major thoroughfare in St. Charles and Lincoln counties and talked with concerned drivers.
Population growth in Lincoln and St. Charles counties is overwhelming roadways like Highway 61.
We have a lot of people from Lincoln County who travel into St. Charles County and St. Louis County to work. Highway 61 is the artery they need.
The Missouri Department of Transportation says the biggest issues on 61 are congestion and difficulty turning onto the highway from key intersections.
We do know that with at-grade intersections, we do see increased crashes there.
According to Missouri State Highway Patrol crash data, in the last year there have been 39 crashes on and around 61 in Lincoln and St. Charles counties. 5 of those were at Highway W. This is one of those at-grade intersections where drivers turning off the side road like W have to cross over northbound and southbound lanes of 61. Amanda Hake has to use one of these intersections.
I will never fault somebody for sitting at a crossover way longer than somebody might feel like they should, because you can't take the chance on 61. You have to be safe.
Residents have been huddled around this map of Highway 61 because they're concerned about their safety on a road they travel every single day. MoDOT has proposed some solutions, including one here at Highway W called a dog bone intersection.
Which just means that there's a roundabout at either side of the highway.
MoDOT says improvements at 61 and W will cost $35 to $40 million, and they hope to start construction by 2028. St. Charles County Councilman Matt Swanson says the biggest barrier to improving safety on 61 is a lack of immediate funds.
Getting it done as fast as possible is going to save lives, and I can promise people that because I cross and pass all those little memorials each day, knowing that that's a loved one who passed away. So let's find the money and get this done.
Amanda says while they won't be able to get to 61 as quickly in the short term, she hopes the long-term safety benefits outweigh the cost.
We actually have kids that are going to be driving soon, so this project can't come soon enough for us, because the idea of new drivers on 61 the way that it is right now is concerning as a mom.
Reporting in Wentzville, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And if you couldn't make it to the meeting tonight, you can see all of the plans online and provide feedback on MoDOT's website. We have the link for you on KSDK.com.
Tonight, St. Louis police are issuing a warning about a tricky scheme that stole $1,000 from an unsuspecting victim. Police say it happened sometime Monday on Gravois Bluff Boulevard in Fenton. The victim reported being asked by a group of young men to buy candy to help their football team. They agreed and handed their card to the suspects, who had to tap a pay app on their phones. Police said the suspects then changed the amount, charging the victim $1,000 instead of the agreed amount. Police believe there could be other victims, and they're asking anyone with information to give them a call.
Today, the St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed a 10-year-old girl died in a fire over the weekend in Bell Fountain Neighbors. The fire happened on Odessa Saturday night just before midnight. This was video of the scene provided to 5 on your side by a neighbor. And neighbors say Sahara Barrow was found in the house by firefighters.
The stretcher was right here, the stretcher was right there, and then when they came out, they came from this direction, put her on the stretcher, start immediately working on her, and then they ran off with her.
Sahara died at the hospital. Tonight, the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Tonight, investigators are asking for your help to solve a hate crime. This was the scene in Clayton back in August after someone set fire to 3 cars owned by the same Jewish family. They then left behind anti-Semitic messages on the street. Police also released images of the suspect from surveillance video. Police say details from the public could help them find this person.
No matter how small the detail, please let us know. You may recognize who this individual is. Take a look at those images that we've shared. If it looks like someone that you may know or someone that you saw in the neighborhood, let us know the details of that.
Anyone with information is asked to call police. Multiple organizations are offering up to $57,000 for information leading to an arrest and conviction. The man who hurt 5 police officers in a crash on I-70 more than 2 years ago learned today how much time he will spend behind bars. A judge sentenced Matthew Jones to 10 years in prison as part of a plea deal. Jones admitted to driving while intoxicated in the early morning hours of March 29th in 2023. He crashed into one police car, causing it to hit 2 other cruisers in her city. 3 Lake St. Louis officers, 2 St. Charles County deputies, a canine service dog, and a 2-year-old passenger riding in Jones's car all suffered injuries. Everyone survived, but some officers needed several surgeries and physical therapy.
Tonight, a judge is siding with a group of 18 University of Missouri students in a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the parents of their fraternity brother. Riley Strain disappeared in March of 2024 during a trip to Nashville, Tennessee with the Delta Chi fraternity. His body was found 2 weeks later. His death was ruled an accidental drowning. A Boone County judge ruled against Strain's parents, who claimed a, quote, special relationship which legally required the fraternity to protect him. Lawsuits against 7 other fraternity members are pending. FBI Director Dan Bongino is planning to resign next month. He made that announcement just hours ago. It comes after his public clashes with the Justice Department over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Bongino also faced scrutiny over past comments he made as a podcast host. Former Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey currently serves as co-deputy director of the FBI.
Within the last 2 hours, President Donald Trump addressed the nation from the White House, telling the American people his policies are working. The president credits his tariff policy with delivering economic success for the country, while blaming Democrats for the challenges Americans still face.
After 11 months, our border is secure, inflation is stopped, wages are up, prices are down, our nation is strong, America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
The president also announced he's sending U.S. troops a $1,700 bonus check for Christmas.
Here's a live look over Capitol Hill, where hours ago the House of Representatives passed a GOP-backed health care bill. The measure is called the Lower Health Care Premiums for All Americans Act. The plan now heads to the Senate for a vote, but likely won't be passed before the holiday break. It is designed to lower health care costs for some Americans in the coming years. But the bill does not extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are set to expire this month. This means millions of Americans will see their annual premium payments spike on the 1st of January.
Renewed conversations tonight to breathe new life into a part of St. Louis which just is a shadow of its former self.
Over the past couple of decades, businesses have left Laclede's Landing, and as a result, so has much of the foot traffic. New at 10, 5 Interside's Brent Solomon explains how developers and community organizations are working to change the narrative.
I said, wait 1 minute. Give me some low down dirty blues.
It's a front row seat to St. Louis's annual Big Muddy Blues Festival. Attracting thousands to the heart of the city's historic Laclede's Landing Riverfront District.
Pierre Laclede himself established this as a port.
Robert Nelson heads the National Blues Museum, which hosts the big event every fall. The location is intentional. He recalls Laclede's Landing in its heyday.
In the 90s, man, you had Mississippi Nights. I remember Erykah Badu and up-and-coming artists who are established artists today. They were playing in Mississippi Nights on Laclede's Landing in the 90s.
Many St. Louisans remember the area for being the epicenter of nightlife.
We've heard people like, oh yeah, when I got picked up on the cobblestones or danced on that countertop.
Flash forward to 2025. The crowds have diminished. Businesses have packed up.
We have a lot of brick and mortar that we need to fill.
It's a lot of ice, I'm sorry.
And when Camille Jackson opened the Cobblestone in the summer of 2024,
We've got your eggs, your pastas, your breads.
she considered it a golden opportunity.
The Archbound's 5-minute walk straight from here, and I was like, well, gosh, it's a no-brainer.
Don't forget the Mississippi River.
And it's so cool because it's a working river. So you get to see the barges coming and going. You get to see shift changes with the rangers and stuff too. It's just a really cool place.
I just can't imagine a big city not capitalizing on that.
I think you're exactly right, and I think that's one of those missed opportunities. A lot of peer cities with great riverfronts like we have things like boardwalks and planks that bring that activity there. I think it's possible for us to have something that's like that.
Alderwoman Jamie Cox Ante wants to see RAM settlement money earmarked for areas that haven't seen a lot of investment.
Will you be advocating for some of that money to go towards downtown development and Laclede's Landing?
I'll be advocating for making sure it goes to the places we need it most. And I think those kinds of areas fall into that category.
This as developers are stepping up.
It's time to get people back down here.
Gretchen Mingus with the Advantage Group owns half a dozen properties on the landing. The company is focused on transforming old buildings into modern living spaces. They're now in talks to create an open-air market with small businesses and booths right on the riverfront.
And we are talking with an operator who has done it multiple in St. Louis, multiple across the country. The goal is to have entertainment. They would like to have movie nights, like to have bands, hoping to do a great Christmas market next year.
Welcomed initiatives for a once vibrant community with much promise.
I have not met one person in 8 years who doesn't want to see Laclede's Landing come back or have a memory of what it was.
Where people are actually living, eating, music, the vibe. That's what that space is for, and that's what it will be again.
Right now, a portion of I-70, many say, divides the riverfront from downtown. Mayor Spencer's office says she's in favor of capping the highway to better connect the areas. Today I made contact with MoDOT, who says it's in the early stages of studying downtown highways as they prepare to make long-term investment plans.
We remember those heydays of Laclede's Landing.
It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I guess it was.
Yeah. All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's back with the weather impact forecast as we expect showers tomorrow.
Yes, right now the clouds are on the increase. We've had the low clouds move into St. Louis tonight. As they moved in, the temperatures that were dropping turned around and they've started to go back up or steady out. The front itself is still well back to our north and west. So most of the rain is coming after daybreak tomorrow. Right now in St. Louis, with a cloudy sky, we're looking at temperatures that are very mild for this time of year. Our average high is 44. We're right now at 51. 55 was the high. And we'll climb overnight and be in the mid-50s out the door tomorrow morning. Most of us are not seeing showers early on. There could be a smattering of lighter showers through 8, 9 o'clock in the metro, but it's really later in the morning and through midday when we get the big push of showers along that front. When you look at the 7-day forecast, you can see there are some changes coming. We're mild tomorrow, but by tomorrow night into Friday, colder air is surging back in. Gusty winds to deal with. Saturday, the peak day of the weekend, nice and mild, and then it cools off again for Sunday into Monday before we start a warming trend heading towards Christmas Day. Overnight tonight, the moisture increases. Again, some spotlight drizzle, some spot sprinkles, light showers, but not a lot of rainfall here. We're looking back to the north and west. Here comes the front, and you'll see a band of showers developing right along that front, and it pushes right into St. Louis. Some of these showers not only have some downpours, but also bring with them gusty winds. Behind that front, temperatures will steady out in the 40s, and then tomorrow evening, we really get the surge of colder air in. So by this time tomorrow night, we're down into the 30s. Those gusty winds tomorrow, your inflatable alert here, south to west, 15 to 20 miles per hour, could get some 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts. That means Frosty might be in the neighbor's yard. Winds, they're gusty. Rainfall amounts, they're not as impressive as we could use. We are behind for the year. We are behind for the month. We're looking at about 1/3 of an inch around St. Louis in terms of rainfall. Again, up, down, up, down. That's our temperature trend as we head into the weekend. And then it really does start warming as we go towards Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, we're being conservative with 58, could easily be 60, and we're in the low to mid 60s on Christmas Day. Odds are this is going to be one of the few days that we have seen 60 or better on Christmas Day in St. Louis. 151 years in the record books, and only 9 times have we been at or above 60 degrees. Weekend travel for Saturday into Sunday. Yes, Sunday's a lot colder, but easy travel all across the bi-state region within an easy day's drive of St. Louis. So just kind of wrapping it all back up, you see the big changes coming in the next 36 hours. By Friday morning, down into the 20s.
All right, Scott, thanks. Well, next in sports is Frank.
Mike, it's the Bills, it's the Blues, and City SC hired a coach. Plus, this is the 10-year anniversary of a horrible day in St. Louis sports. We will remind you next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is now available in Missouri.
A poll came out today that ranked the basketball Billikens second in the country for mid-majors. Only Gonzaga was higher. Tonight they hosted Bethune-Cookman, who received about $100 grand for coming, and they earned every penny of it in the beating they eventually took. Remember at 5 o'clock when Coach Schertz said the best three-point shooting is still on the way? How about this? Brady Dunlap from 24 feet. How about Trey Green from 26 feet? And then there's Robbie Avila from 25 feet. And there was some fun at the end. Jaden Schertz, the coach's son, hit a reverse. That will tie a record for most points ever by a Billiken team against a D1 squad. SLU rolls 112 to 53.
Obviously shot it well, shared the ball great. Effort level was good. I thought our defense for most of the game was terrific. I thought we had a little stretch in the second half. We had some breakdowns in the 15 to 10 minute window. But outside of that, we were really good defensively.
Before the men played, the SLU women hosted Jacksonville State. Jada Dennis with the mid-range game for 2 of her 12 points. And then you got to see the shot of the night, falling down Zia Nugent. Billikens win 74-54. The Blues hosted the Jets tonight, and what a difference 7 months make. Last year, the Jets won the President's Trophy, and the Blues had a scintillating stretch to make the playoffs. Well, now the Jets are in 10th place in the West, and the Blues are in 12th. Now, Joel Hofer didn't play in that epic 7-game series against the Jets, but tonight he got his 3rd consecutive start. Scoreless in the second, Pavel Buchnevich knocks it loose, Robert Thomas, and Justin Falk with the goal, 1-0 note. The Blues protected Hofer. Loose puck. Cam Fowler is not allowing anybody to get through. Logan Mayhew is knocking bodies down. Hofer turned back all 24 shots he saw against a team from his hometown, and the Blues win a big game. The final 1-0.
It's hard to know what to expect the way the season has gone, to be honest. It was nice to see the way we started the game, the way we did compete. It did turn into the playoff type game that wasn't as physical as the playoffs, but it was physical for this regular season.
City SC introduced their new head coach today. He's the 35-year-old from France, Johan Demey, and it seems to make a lot of sense. The way to win is to get the lead assistant from a great franchise. Johan was a part of that championship in Columbus. He actually started coaching when he was 16 years old, and his style in St. Louis will be?
I want to bring a proactive approach, like with and without the ball. I want us to be a high-pressing team. I want us to be more on the front foot as well with the ball, like controlling more of the game. But I want these two things to be rooted in clarity and process. So there is a need for clarity for the players in terms of expectation when we're attacking and when we're defending. So with that clarity, we'll be able to also hold the players accountable, hold ourselves as a staff accountable.
So it was on this day 10 years ago, the last NFL game was played in St. Louis. It's likely, I say painfully, that there won't be another. The Rams in those hideous uniforms must have been picked out by Stan Kroenke and Kevin Demoff. Actually won a game. They beat the Bucs 31-23. And that's it for the NFL in St. Louis. Besides, of course, the $790 million they gave us for being lying scoundrels. So Stan and the NFL did pay up, but the damage he did is irreversible. And don't forget it wasn't just him. Like, he needed some help here. You're looking at Demoff and Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell. They were his crooked accomplices. And you know what the worst part is? He's already won 1 Super Bowl in LA, and he has a great chance to win another this year. And you know what? They're a really likable, fun team to watch. And that will do it in sports.
Yeah, you can root for the team, but not necessarily the owner if you're from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Frank, thanks.
Well, coming up after this newscast on the 5+ app, streaming app, a new special recapping the moments and news stories that made 2025 unforgettable. Search for KSDK on your smart TV's app store to watch. Here's a preview.
Tonight, as our area continues to celebrate the holiday season, the yearly light display at the St. Louis Zoo is being celebrated as one of the best in the nation.
USA Today ranked the zoo's wildlife display as one of the 10 top 10 Zoo Lights events of the year. The display was ranked 7th, which is one spot behind the Columbus Zoo. The light display runs on select nights through December 28th. Tickets are $12 for Zoo members, $15 for non-members.
And Scott has one final check of our weather impact forecast, which includes some rain.
It does. Tonight would have been a good night to be out looking at those lights at the zoo with temperatures around 50. We're going to pick up the breeze tomorrow, and it's a falling temperature tomorrow night. Most of our rain occurs during the morning, probably between 10 and 1 in St. Louis, and then it's out of the viewing area later tomorrow afternoon. But the cold rolls in, 22 for the low by early Friday morning.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.